Hi there, my name is Belinda Dubston and welcome to the I Ching Cafe for the week commencing the 9th of December 2019. Let's have a look, as always, back to last week where the I Ching was saying to us the flow of change we're being asked to pay attention to is dealing with the crop, with the animals, caring for all the little things that we are responsible for, culminating in the completion of a big cycle of change with 63. So think about your week last week, and perhaps you're still feeling the effects this week. It does have an overlap of a few days on either side. And think about what is the big cycle that has now ended. And I can think of many in my life, and I know a lot of you have been sharing that as well. So share in the comments below what have been some of the things you've experienced this past week of big cycles coming to a close. If you've been following our weekly episodes, you know that I've been talking over the last 2 weeks about this pattern of the ending. And we had 2 weeks ago, we had Hexagram 64, which is called before completion. So the last few steps before completion. And our outcome hexagram for last week was 63, which is after completion. Completion's now happened and we have to hold everything in order until the new cycle has begun. And I said at that time that what is coming next? What is this new cycle? Are we going to get a new rebirth energy coming through in this week? So let's take a look at what is in store for us, what we should focus on for this week commencing the 9th of December. So we have hexagram 28, which is called Great Pressure. And this hexagram is all about how the diamond grows under pressure. How do we respond to pressure? So you can expect that this week and a few days on either side, we are going to be under it. We are going to be under the pump in a variety of different ways, personally and professionally. You might experience this as a lot of work, feeling overwhelmed with all the stuff that needs to get done. Perhaps you're rushing to get everything finished so that you can go on annual leave. Perhaps you've got your kid around your ankles while you're trying to finish off the year, or multiples thereof. And so pressure and stress is what we are being asked to pay attention to this week. How do we respond under pressure? And for you, the pressure might be that overwhelm. For someone else, the pressure might be some really big thing they have to deal with. For someone else, the pressure might be a huge amount of responsibility and not much time. So in our businesses, in our personal lives, how we deal with this energetic crisis, the stress, this process of pressure, that is what we're being asked to pay attention to. So what does the I Ching tell us about this? The I Ching says that this is an exceptional time. This week, we're going to have an exceptional opportunity to leapfrog forward. And you can see from the structure of the hexagram, we have a female line at the top, yin at the top, and a yin female line at the bottom, and a whole lot of these strong yang lines in the middle. And so these softer, gentler energies on the top and the tail are struggling to contain the pressure of these strong lines. And it makes the image of like a beam or a ridge pole within your house that has so much pressure on it, it can collapse. So if we don't address the stress, we don't find ways of working through the stress, we might face a collapse. So the I Ching always gives us something practical that we can do in this week. Number 1, get rid of the things that are unnecessary stress. Put down the things you don't need to deal with this week. Maybe these are your Christmas or your holiday or year-end plans that are now creeping into your mind when you're desperately trying to finish off the year. That might be your stress. It might be holiday issues with your children. It might be things that are for New Year that you're worrying about now that you don't need to worry about. Whatever is peripheral stress, put it down. Okay. So what happens in overwhelm is we try and solve every problem, like every problem is critical. And our sensory organs, our poor kidneys and adrenal glands don't know what to do with that, don't know what to do with the lack of priority. So put down all the things that are not essential. People can wait about plans for Christmas. People can wait for things for the new year. People can wait. Let them wait. You can wait. Put it down. Okay, so that's strategy number 1. Strategy number 2 says, that in exceptional times, in this opportunity to become the diamond, to create diamonds in your business right now, this week, we have to do something exceptional. Okay, so part of this process is also recognizing that it's not just business as usual. Under this kind of pressure where the diamond is growing into the coal, growing into the pressure around it, we don't get the diamond from being mediocre and beige. Oh no. We get that by using this pressure, using this opportunity to push into the pressure, to grow into the pressure and do something exceptional. What does that mean? It means you must be willing to walk alone, is what the I Ching says. Do something out of the norm. Stretch yourself out of what you're used to. Jump outside the comfort zone. So the way that we mitigate the stress, one is put down extra stuff that just is not important this week. The other thing we do is we are brave to try something exceptional, to break the rules, okay, not legal rules, but break the rules and norms of our own conditioning, what we believe we can do, and smash it. Okay, that is what we're being asked to do this week. 2 strategies that are going to help us leapfrog into something bigger and brighter and more interesting for the last bit of this year. So you thought that the I Ching was going to say, lay like broccoli. Oh no. That's not what this week is about. It's a week of stress. And we just have to learn to deal with it and follow the advice the I Ching is giving us. How do we deal with pressure? Now, what I wanted to show you as well is that something I've not yet spoken about on this channel, and I will do an I Ching 101 in the near future on it, is a concept in the I Ching called a nuclear hexagram. A nuclear hexagram is another hexagram that's derived from the one that you have. It works on a process of saying ignore the top line because that's leaving, ignore the bottom line because that's very new, it's just derived. What is in the heart of this particular situation? And the nuclear, without getting into technical and explaining a whole background on it, the nuclear for 28 is 1, the creative. When I saw that, I was like, haha, you see, I said last week, we have all these big cycles coming to an end. What is being reborn? And here we have the heart of this week is pressure created from something new creative energy, a new cycle that is starting to emerge out of the embers of a cycle we closed off last week. Far wiser than perhaps we realize. We have 2 changing lines this week, one in the first position and one in the 4th position. Our changing lines give us a little bit of relief under this pressure situation. Our first changing line says what we need to do is put down the sacrificial mat, the ritual mat, put our knees on the mat and supplicate ourselves. Okay, what does that mean? It means we need to make small offerings. Bring the offerings that we have to the table. Be humble and diligent and focused, and not to prostrate your energy and hand your energy away, but to literally just hand it over and bring what you can to the party. Do what you can. So part of this week, as we start off the week and we deal with stress, is just bring to the mat, bring to the offering what you can, even if you feel that it's insignificant. Do what you can. Bring the small things to the table. And then the changing line in the 4th position, as we head into the week, says something has happened to shift the massive pressure that we're under. Something has clicked, relief has come, an opportunity just to reinforce the sagging beam, to dispel some of this energy. We've crossed the threshold into the top of the hexagram. We're into line 4, and there's been a relief and a release of pressure that's taken place. But don't push it too far. Okay, so there's been some relief, some help has come just to relieve some energy. Do not fall into the trap of thinking, I've got capacity to do more. Isn't that wonderful? Pile on, pile on, pile on. So when the relief comes this week, say, aha, the I Ching said, help is coming, relief is coming. I must just sit with it and just be present with it. Don't think now that you can now tackle more, start projects, add more energy in, because you're going to be your own worst enemy. I know I do that to myself. So this week, bring the offering, put it on the mat, This is what I can do. Do your process. Number 2, recognize that help comes, the relief comes, and it's almost a sense of, whew, we got through this crisis. Don't put on more. Don't start new things. Deal with the things that you have. This is not a time for starting businesses, starting new projects, dealing with new ideas. The beginning has begun. That's in the heart of the situation. Our challenge is to deal with the stress and the crisis point and the growing into the pressure that we are facing this week and how we manage that. And remember, those strategies were, number 1, put down everything that's not critical. And number 2, be exceptional. Step outside the boundaries of what you know. Be willing to act alone, to strike out on your own, to find your own way. Be unconventional, break the rules. Okay, not the legal rules. Right, our outcome hexagram for the week, the relating figure, or what this whole change process transforms into, is hexagram 5, which is called waiting. We've had this before. We have water on the top, we have heaven on the bottom. So water, or the nourishment we're looking for, is beyond the sky. It's like over there, it's clouds in the distance. And the rain is not yet here. So that hexagram says there's going to be a sense by the end of the week that we are waiting. Something hasn't yet arrived. Maybe it's news. Maybe it's the signature you're looking for. Maybe it's closure on something that you're working on, particularly related to the pressure. The rain is coming. It's just not yet here. So what do we do when it's not yet here? We get on with the job. We prepare for it. We assume it's coming. We build the trenches. We work to prepare for the rain. We don't just sit there staring at the clouds. We build dams, we build aqueducts, we get going with our irrigation system. So there's work to be done in preparing for the rain. But the rain is coming. Right, so that's our week. Interesting times. How do we respond under pressure? Well, I hope that gives you some solace and focus when you're feeling that pressure cooker and you feel like you want to explode. What's the first thing you do? Put down something that's unnecessary. And you'll hear my words when you feel that pressure throughout the week. Please do share your thoughts with us as you go through the week. Right, as always, find us on Instagram, on Facebook and Twitter, where we have obviously the postings of these weekly and monthly videos and podcast episodes, and of course our daily stories to give you a dose of I Ching magic into your day every day. Food for thought to keep you focused on what's really important to you right now. Thanks so much for joining me, and we'll see you soon.